My name's Amanda Coons. I'm from St. Joseph, Missouri, and I'm here. The top 4 symptoms is vertigo, headaches and migraines, anxiety, and jaw pain and locking. Vertigo, I've had it now for about 5 years. About 5 years ago, I had my first episode. It got really bad where I couldn't drive for a couple of months, couldn't get out of bed. I would feel like the actual bed was moving sometimes unless I got into a certain position. I feel like a constant rocking sensation, and then it dissipated, and then I just had it here and there until about December of 2021. I had a really bad episode and lasted quite a while. Couldn't get out of bed, just migraines with it. I threw up a few times with it, and I've been dealing with that on and off for the past 9 months. Over the past 5 years, probably like a 4, unless it gets really bad, but the past 9 months, it is, I've lived with it probably like anywhere from a 6 to an 8 almost every day. It's just, it comes and goes more recently, but when it gets bad, it gets to a 10. The past 9 months, probably 3 or 4 times. It's been really bad.
3 or 4 times during that 9 months?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. So if I go for a walk or something, when I stop, I feel like I'm still moving. Or sometimes if I lift my head up too quickly, or when I first get out of bed, I feel like I'm rocking or on a boat dock. When the first episode happened, I saw my primary doctor, and they just gave me a medication and sent me to an ENT. And then I also saw acupuncturist, chiropractor, and then recently now a neurologist, and I'm also doing biofeedback. Muscle relaxers, my doctor 5 years ago gave me something, but I don't remember what it was for sure. It could have been, but I constantly take Dramamine, or I take Coccus insidious and phosphorus to help manage my nausea and feelings of needing to lay down. I've had headaches and migraines since I was very young. I take Maxalt when they get really bad, probably on the normal 4 to 5 a month. This past month, or when I have vertigo, I have a lot more migraines. I was probably 10. I also had an MRI when I was little, trying to figure out what was going on. I'm 33 now. My headaches vary normally. Like more recently, they've been on this side of my head. Sometimes they'll radiate to the other. Sometimes they can be behind my eyes, or on top of my head. That's mainly where they're at. I can feel them sometimes coming on, and I can try and take ibuprofen or Excedrin, but sometimes, normally if it's on one side of the head, I can tell, okay, this is gonna be a migraine pretty quick. Or if it's on both sides of my head, sometimes it's hard to differentiate if it's like pressure in my head. Then I would take minimum of 3 ibuprofen. There's no use in taking 2 because it won't touch it. And then if that doesn't work, I have to take my Maxalt. Sometimes I'll have headaches every day. I can live with them if they're like at a 3 or a 4. But if they start to intensify during the day, I know I'm in trouble. Or if I wake up with them, I know it's gonna be a migraine. I vomit from them sometimes. I know I have certain triggers. I have different types of migraines, but with the vertigo, and since my jaw issues, I've had more on just the left side of my head. I guess the headache, the pain is not super bad. Migraine, it's pulsating, vomiting. Like I try and get it before I vomit because then medication don't help because I can't keep it down. Can't tolerate light, sound. Yes, so like perfumes and stuff like that, I cannot handle. Or like potpourri, like I can't walk into Bath and Body Works. It could lead to that. So I avoid that stuff. Every day, I guess sometimes I don't even think about it, unfortunately. Probably a 2 or 3, probably just in my temple areas normally is where my headaches are. 7-day week, maybe 2, sometimes 3. Past couple weeks, it's been a lot more.
How many more?
There was a day, I think it was 5 days in a row, a severe headache before I have to take Maxalt. Probably a 6 or 7. maybe a couple times a week. Anxiety, I guess I never really knew I was had a lot of anxiety until I did, when I've had the vertigo and other incidents, I actually ended up having some panic attacks where I just couldn't breathe, I couldn't sleep, I was just anxious, got sick to my stomach, threw up, just really anxious, or when a lot of stuff compiles, I get really anxious, but when I get the vertigo, it's like a whole nother level of anxiety. 4 years maybe when I had the panic attack, the first one, but I guess I've just always lived with it and just thought that was just who I was. And I did do some biofeedback and they're like, oh no, your readings are, you definitely internalize your anxiety and sometimes it just combusts. Very well could. Maybe a lot of my friends and even my husband, like after I started taking natural stuff, could tell instantly that, yeah, you had some anxiety there, and probably a 4 or 5.
That's your norm.
When I have vertigo, it spikes up, or when things seem to combust, or if seems like for us, a lot of things happen all at once, and then I internalize it, try to work through it, and then I can't handle it. Probably not every week, probably a couple times a month. I mean, I very rare have panic attacks. Those are maybe every few months or something like that. The fourth one was my jaw pain. I've always had jaw, occasional clicking or popping in it. But it was July 30th, I fell asleep and I woke up and I couldn't really fully open it. Was really weird feeling, and I went to the chiropractor and that kind of made it worse, and I had severe pain every day, would travel from my ear all the way down my chin, just horrible pain. And that lasted for a few weeks. I was on muscle relaxers to try and help. The dentist told me to take naproxen twice a day, so I was doing that. Then unfortunately I got COVID during that too. But thankfully the pain didn't really bother me during COVID, thankfully, because I was scared. But now it just, the dentist also told me to try and get a over-the-counter night guard because I couldn't fully open my mouth for them to actually make a mold. And he said I could try the night guard. And so the first night seemed to help. The second night I woke up and it wouldn't open past this. And it's gotten actually a little better since then, since I've taken more muscle relaxers. And it just mainly feels like it stems from my left side. I've had a few injuries to my face. Those have been 10 plus years. Right now, since it's locked up, probably a 4. The pain hasn't been super bad. The days when it was really bad, it would go to a 10. I would start crying by the end of the day because the pain was just intense. I was putting arnica, or I actually used biofreeze on my face to try and help with the aching in it.
Turn your jaw so you can point to me specifically with the finger where that is. Is that about near the jaw joint?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the pain when I had it, which I don't right now, it would radiate. But mainly, sometimes it starts to ache and feel tired by the end of the day if I've done a lot of eating or talking, and by the end of the day, it's just it's more worn out, and some days it's worse than others. Yeah, the more chewy, the more it feels tired, or yeah.
And does it also hurt when you're not doing anything, resting your jaw?
Just an aching feeling. Doing a lot better. Probably 70 to 80%. No longer have the cranking in my jaw anymore.
How do you mean by cranking?
I felt like every time I talked or ate, it felt like someone was tightening each side of my face, and I just had severe pain in both sides of my face. I don't have that at all anymore. Just occasional tightness on just the left side, just occasionally. I would say about 70% better. I was down in bed. I was down in bed before a lot, and it could last all day long, or days, weeks, months. And now it's maybe a couple times a week, and it's just a few seconds, and I'd say 60 to 70% better. I've had headaches and migraines since I was 10. And I've never, probably in my entire life since then, gone 1 week without taking some sort of pain medication. And after getting the braces, I think it was, I'd gone 11 days with no pain medication for the probably first time in my life since I was 10. That's gotten better. The past month, I've not had one panic attack. That's definitely increased probably 70% as well. I've noticed a difference in my energy levels have definitely probably doubled. Able to clean my whole house without having to lay down. Played my first 18-course disc golf, which normally I can only make it 6 or halfway through disc golf. And I made it full because I also have been baking more for him. So yeah, I want more to him. I never really noticed it, but my friends and my husband, I love music. I always love to move. I'll be in a store, I can move, or just listening. And over the past couple of years, I've not wanted to do that at all. And then my friends noticed the other day I was dancing around, line dancing, and we were just out and about, and they were like, okay, you're coming back more to yourself. And I do notice myself dancing a lot more again.
Awesome.
The biggest thing that I noticed was with the headaches, because the whole time we've been married, usually she'd have to take some type of medicine to get rid of her headache. And so when she said that she didn't have to take any medicine to have that headache dissipate, we knew something was going the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as energy levels, yeah, the energy levels were definitely through the
you
roof.
thought the percentage may be different?
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's not having to help me clean the house.
That's a bonus.
The other, I came for jaw. I didn't even know you did any of the other stuff. So I had high expectations. I was excited. But yeah, phase 1, I did not do very great with the vertigo and migraines. Just the jaw helped. But even if I got some relief from the jaw, we didn't want to go backwards. And I'm glad we didn't, because it was a couple weeks after the braces and it was just like a light switch. Things started to improve. And I was like, I'm not getting excited yet because this could be, I can't believe this is really happening. Maybe I'm just having one really good week, but it just kept going. So it's a month later.
Yeah, the same thing. We were glad we were patient, because even getting some different feedback, people's bodies are different and they might react differently and take longer. So we were just happy we were sticking it through.